Hi, so my name's Elsie. I'm the president of Northumbria University's Horror Society. I decided this week to do another face painting tutorial. This one is more freeform than the last one was. I just decided to start drawing something on my face to see what happened. So I had this vague idea that I was going to do a sort of cheek window. So I started shading in with some brown eyeshadow, the vague outline of what I wanted. If you can hear a load of noise, that is tiny little quail birds in the same room I'm sat in, which are learning how to fly. So they keep sort of leaping up off of things. Anyway, yeah, so I was using eyeshadow to roughly sketch out the outline. And then I used some red face paint just to fill that in so I could have a look at what I was working with. I decided to do this one a bit differently to how I did the last one, which was where I, recorded my voiceover as I went along. I thought it made the video too long, so I decided this week to do it that I recorded it afterwards. Especially because this week it wasn't really like I could give direction as I went along. I was kind of making it up. Yeah, so I thought I'd talk a bit about Northumbria Horror Society since I've got you here. We are a society of people who are all into horror. We do lots of fun things, like we watch horror films and we have horror themed music nights. Our last one we did was Valentine's Day. We did a Till Death Do Us Part music night, which was really fun. We get to meet lots of other societies through doing that, like Music Society, Musical Theatre Society. We've also been meeting a lot of the other international societies through film. Such as Pakistan Society, who are really lovely. Shout out to them. Oh yeah, so what's just happened is that's my boyfriend Harry. I'm quarantining with him, and he was sat playing CS:GO the entire time I was recording this. So occasionally, if it looks like I'm talking to somebody, it's him I'm talking to, and occasionally he slides into shot to show me something and then walks away again. What I've done now is I've darkened that red and I've added it in to make a shadow around where I thought the light wouldn't hit if I was looking straight on. Yeah. I look equally as confused. That's because, again, I make it up as I go along, so occasionally I just stop and stare because I'm like, oh, I wonder what to do now. Um, I think what I've started to do is, yeah, so I've went and got a eyeliner pencil, and I'm sketching out where I think my jawbone would be, as well as back teeth and like some of the muscle and stuff. I know this isn't technically accurate. I think if I did this again, I would look up some reference photos and then work from that. But again, I was making it up as I went along. I think it looks okay in the end. It looks better face on than it does on the side. Yeah, so at this point, I'm getting some white face paint and I'm filling in the teeth as well as the jawbone. I'm not too worried about getting it opaque because I'm aware that I can layer it up and that the more I work it, the more the colours will start to blend. I'm actually sat in my boyfriend's window doing this, and it's like the front of the house, and directly across from me is all these lovely houses, front gardens, which are sort of like their back gardens. So all these people were outside doing up their lawns, painting the fronts of their houses, and then occasionally they would just look up and see me sat there painting my face. I made another video besides this one, which was much more involved face painting, and I'm sure they thought I was insane. So I'm actually adjusting to life at my boyfriend's in a bit of an odd way. So I thought I wouldn't like it because none of my stuff's here. I mean, we brought over my computer and my face paint things, but none of my sewing things or not much of my schoolwork really, no books really. And I thought I'd get bored. But it's been really nice actually being quarantined in a house with his flatmates. He's got 3 flatmates who are still here. That's Nastia, Ed, and Harley. And they're all super nice, and it's really cool just being able to go and talk to them so I don't go insane talking to Harry. Okay, so at this point, I am still going over bits of the white. I think I'm adding pink into the gums. Yeah, to try and make it look less 2D and more three-dimensional. I remember thinking at this point, oh wow, it would have been really good to have a reference image, because I just couldn't think in my head what that would look like if you took the skin away from the side of your face. There are several points in the video where you can spot me feeling my face the other side, and then like shoving my tongue into my cheek and stuff. That's because I was trying to figure out the shape of the jawbone and roughly what it would look like. Yeah, I think I'm getting the hang of it now. I think at this point I'd sort of gotten more into what I was doing, so I was getting excited about it. Yeah, it's been hard to stay motivated during this time, to keep working as well as to keep creating engagement for our society. But I think what's really been getting me through is my sort of friends and my network. I've joined a couple Facebook groups, which are all dedicated to creative people during this time, as well as a couple group chats from fandom groups I'm in. And they've been all really nice. And it's been really cool getting to know these new people, and share our skills with each other. Like, I helped a girl write a formal letter, which doesn't sound very exciting, but it was exciting for me because I hadn't done anything to do with my actual subject, which is English literature, in a while. And somebody else said they would help me design a logo for Horror Society's radio show Dead Air, which currently is off air because we can't record it. But we do have some plans in the works to be able to get at least one or two specials done in this time. It will just mean that we're going to have to do it in a lot more convoluted way. Yeah, so at this point, I think I've went and got a brush with some black eyeshadow, and I'm just going over and I'm shading in between the teeth, the jawbone, where the light would hit. I'm trying to make that sort of divide between my actual skin and the face paint look harsher, like it's an actual cut. I think this would have looked better if I had a full face of makeup on with it to be able to get that line really sharp, but I've run out of foundation and there's no way for me to go and get any. So we'll make and do, which is why all my face paints I'm uploading, none of them really are on a natural base because I just don't have any foundation to do that with. Yeah, I think I'm just going back through and I'm using a really thin white brush, which I've wet and I've put some white paint on, and I'm going along and I'm trying to highlight anywhere that should be shiny or where the light would hit. Like, I'm going over my gums to try and make them look ridged, as well as around the outside of the entire window. Yeah, and I keep leaning forward because I'm looking into a mirror that's just to the left-ish of the camera. So I'm looking at myself in the mirror, then looking into my, camera to see what that looks like to you guys, leaning into the light of the window to be able to see what I'm doing. It would be nice in future to perhaps get some studio lighting, because then I could record these not just in daytime. I've recorded all of them sort of around the afternoon so far, because that's when I found the lighting was least harsh. But even then, you can see it in a few of these clips where the light is bleaching me out a bit because it's too high in the sky. Oh, I look confused. Oh, I'm determined. Oh, yeah, I see. Okay, so I've just gotten a brush and I've gotten some red and I'm going around and I'm trying to make that look even more harsh looking. And then I really do think I'm just fiddling at this point. I don't actually know if I'm adding anything to this piece. I wanted to go and get this red blusher I had and go around it to make it look sore, but the effort of doing that wasn't going to be worth what the actual product would look like. So I decided to leave that alone. I think I'm just going back in over the white. This is my problem, see. I like going back over things over and over again. So instead of a video taking 10 minutes, it takes me 20. I think I'm more or less finished now. I'm just adding more shading in. Yeah, there we go. More or less finished. Oh, see, there we go. Okay, so I was going to be done there, but then I felt a bit underwhelmed with how it looked. And I remembered that my friend had asked me, my friend being Ruby, who's the vice president, to do a Bruise tutorial. So I decided to do that. I know I'd mentioned it in my last video. So I'm starting off with that palette I mentioned in the first video I did. I'm using the yellow, the mustardy colour, all over my cheekbone, under my eye. I do bring it up over my eye as well eventually. I'm then taking a purple and I'm going in over the top of that with some, not red, with a green rather. Wow. A green and a blue that I've mixed together. Yeah, I'm trying to deepen like the corner of my eye, where my, nose meets my brow bone, as well as where my eye bags are. Again, I think this would have been more accurate if I'd looked up a reference image, but I wasn't I wasn't really able to do that because I used my phone to record, and it would be a whole another palaver to have to set up my computer in a way that I could see the reference image as well as record. So I decided to freeball this. What am I looking for? Ooh, I look excited. Oh yeah, so I'm just using some of that black eyeshadow again that I've used all the time to further deepen the corner. I'm trying to make it look like my actual eye was punched, and that maybe I've caught my cheekbone on the way down. So the cheekbone is still bruised, but it's not as harsh as my eye. I wasn't going to do it on my face originally. When I thought about doing a Bruise tutorial, I wanted to do one on my hand or something because I thought it would be easier to film. But, in the moment, I decided to do my eye, and I think it comes out pretty okay, so I'm not too upset about it. I think now I'm just getting some red. Yep, red face paint, and I'm putting it around my eye, and then I'm using my finger to smudge that out to make my eye look more sore. I would have used a lipstick or something normally, but again, I just didn't want to go find one. Yeah, so that's the finished look. I hope you found this informative and fun. We'll see you next week. Bye.